Hi, I'm Max. I will start the presentation and talking about Collectif ETC, and more precisely about our current project, La Place des Possibles, which takes place in France, taking part in a larger European project called A School of Commons. So what is Collectif ETC? We define ourselves as a group of architects and builders, and we develop all our projects with intense moments of creation and collective construction. Building collectively allows us as architects to approach our project from a concrete angle with the real transformation of the space by strongly including the inhabitants and the actors concerned by the projects. Nowadays, in this difficult ecological, social and economical context, it remains very important for us to defend a kind of activism in our activity, defending what we consider to be essential causes, such as using biosourced and recycling materials, the economy of means, and helping people in difficulty. The Collectif ETC is a group currently made up of 6 architects and 1 administrative coordinator. We are an association and operate on a totally horizontal basis. We are all salaried employees. We are collaborating with a lot of other professionals as architects, urban landscape and graphic designers, craftsmen, and social workers. Finally, our most important value in our activity is more the creative process in the project than the final product. The project I will present right now will try to illustrate this statement. La Place des Possibles is a former textile factory in a rural area, located in a village close to the mountains and surrounded by fields and forests. This place is owned and led by the association Les Tracols, who gives social support to families and young people in trouble. This place also gathers various local associations working in the fields of ecology, crafts, reused materials and clothes, and reduction of the digital divide. We have been accompanying Les Tracols for 3 years now, creating a step-by-step rehabilitation of 2,500 square meters with a series of open construction and creative workshops. Instead of millions for a single architect expert's point of view, we propose an incremental and collaborative design working with renewable resources and reuse materials of the site with local actors, associations and inhabitants, and most of all with low budgets. Giving care to a former building then became a way for emancipation and solidarity between various publics in an under-resourced rural territory. Then, during 3 years, we proposed to instigate a series of meetings, debates and intensive workshops to integrate local actors and inhabitants in a creative bottom-up process. These intensive workshops are based in real situations, mixing a large public in a logic of synergy. We propose to share all the creative processes, from the drawing to the building phases. We want these moments to be as festive and unusual as they can be. That's why we always organize collective lunches, debates or lectures to encourage people to meet. We are also trying inclusive creative tools such as art, photography, video or sound recording in order to gather a wider range of people. The intensive workshops we propose as pedagogical tools imply that different categories of participants gather for time to learn, train, and share daily experiences, generally during 2 weeks. cooperating in a collective project triggers a learning process that fosters mutual respect, individual commitment, strengthens the social and cognitive skills of the participants, and collectively engages them in a project that surpasses each individual for the common good. In this project, we are working on various themes, from the global architectural project strategy to the design of furniture from reused materials. From mapping the territory with a net of other actors to create, to the production of all the graphic signage of the place. These intensive workshops try to enhance the role of the inhabitants in the project process and democratize access to the approaches and tools of architecture and urban planning. We try to be complementary to Les Tracols, who help the most disadvantaged. That's why we welcome their existing public to the intensive workshops. Young people in need, unemployed people, an aging population in the midst of a digital divide, immigrant families trying to reintegrate through learning new skills. We also invite all the associative actors around, the inhabitants of the village and the surroundings, artists for collaborations of events, craftsmen and social workers as professionals in their fields. We have recently set up a partnership with the nearest School of Architecture to welcome about 50 students to share these intensive workshops all together. Therefore, we decided to propose a larger European project last year, involving schools of architecture and other local community projects. Faced with the context of economic, democratic, and social crisis, a multitude of civil society initiatives have emerged in Europe over the last 10 years, like La Place des Possibles. Often taking the form of common places, these initiatives aim to promote solutions adapted to the needs of local communities. The School of Commons project is interested in building bridges between School of Architecture, local community projects, especially in rural areas, and a generation of activist architects organized in collectives. These bridges take the form of learning by doing workshops, involving all parties and producing concrete changes. Funded by Europe via Erasmus+, and starting next year, we will imagine new futures for several places with our partners from Italy and Greece. With students, local actors and inhabitants, and other young architects, we will all try to co-design and co-build projects for the common good. It's time to imagine new modes of territory planning and collective architectural projects based on the synergy between all the actors of the project. I would like to thank you for your attention. Here are the last pictures of La Place des Possibles after 2 years of collective building and creative workshops. New people are arriving in the project. We are full of hope for the future. Thank you very much.